And we are live. All right, chat room, listen when you can hear us. You guys always do. We appreciate that. And, of course, I don't think we've ever started the show on time, like, ever in 4 years. So, yeah, that's the way it is.
Well, that's good. That's not just me.
No, I don't think we've ever been on time. The only question is how late are we going to be? 1 minute, 10 minutes, sometimes 20 minutes?
Can we hold for lipstick? Just kidding.
Yes, we can hold for lipstick. I got to go find some, though, because I'm all out.
Okay. Use mine. It's hard red.
I want fire engine red. That's the sexy stuff, right?
And that's what I wear.
All right, just waiting on the chat room to give us a shout if they see us.
Or chat room.
Let's make sure I actually put the right video up on the live page, or they may not see us.
That'd be great. All right. Tiber says they hear us.
All right, yep, that's the right video. Awesome. All right, let me switch back to the... Oops. Switch back to the right windows. Don't need that one. I have like 15 windows open here. Let me get down to like 5 or 6. Start player, chat room, and audio file, and hangout. Okay, are we ready?
I think we are.
All right, hey, let's do a show. We're going to start in 5, 4, 3, 2... On this episode of the AIE Podcast,
Halloween is here.
It's your last chance to get your heirlooms.
The Emperor has reached max level. Oh, I like what you did there.
Thank you. The mega servers are coming, cupcakes.
And we have Ratto, Zatto, and Captain Hunter to talk about AIE and Star Trek Online.
All that and more coming up right now. Bringing you the latest news from the AIE gaming community from planet Earth and beyond. This is the AIE Podcast. All right, welcome to episode 212 of the podcast celebrating the Alea Iacta Est gaming community. This is Accusod. Aludra is off on a secret special assignment. You'll have to follow her on Twitter to see what it is. We can't tell you. It's a secret. But right over there, sitting in the second seat, we've got Makala.
Hey guys, I put some German apple cake in the guild kitchen.
Ooh, yummy. All right, this week we're joined with special guests here to talk to us about AIE and Star Trek Online. First up, let me introduce Ratto Zetto.
Hey everyone, how's it going?
Oof, I thought we lost you there for a second. Thought maybe you were teleporting someplace. And second up, we've got the Captain, Captain Hunter.
Hey gang, how you doing?
Great.
We're good.
Okay, so let's jump in and meet and greet everybody. Makala, it has been, at least a week. Well, okay, not really a week because we just raided, but what have you been up to?
Well, 6.02 dropped and, did the Blasted Lands pre-quest stuff, and that was a good time.
It was good, but it was short.
It was. It was also a lot of fun to blow the crud out of stuff. Really, really
I had
quickly.
fond memories of vanilla back in the day.
Oh,
It did seem like it, yeah.
It's like, I remember killing these guys back in the day.
Right.
Back in my day.
I wasn't playing WoW then, back when that transition from vanilla to Burning Crusades or anything. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and that little Iron Star thing that we get as a reward at the end is so darn cute.
It is cool. I love it. That's the thing that was to kill us fighting Gary, but now it's a pet.
I think I might
love
name
that.
mine Handle It, since it was always my job to handle the Iron Star.
That's true.
In the raid.
It was thanks to you we survived. I think you need to make an earring that looks like that because I've seen all the earrings you've made recently, and they're beautiful.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Two very not intelligent, or 3 very not so bright guildies decided to sign up for to be vendors at a science fiction convention or a fantasy convention 2 weeks before Christmas.
Suckers.
Yeah, so I'm real life stress crafting. I need a craft fair. I wonder if anybody will join me. Besides,
Yes, you should do that.
Time.
You should just bring like buckets of random spare parts to like BlizzCon in the guild hall. And we'll just sit people down, start assembly line, making a whole bunch of earrings and necklaces.
I'm not gonna be there.
What?
of
Well,
that.
forget it. We just won't have it then.
Oh, that sounds good. Okay.
If you're not going to be there, what's the point? So.
Right? We'll talk to Blizzard. Hey, what's been going on with you, Zod?
Oh man, just working nonstop as always. It seems to be a common theme for me. I've been getting there. I have a list of projects I've got to get done by the end of the year, and this year, for some reason, it's even worse than last year. Getting them done. I'm like months behind a project I was supposed to have launched, or a program I wrote I was supposed to launch 2-3 months ago. I'm finally getting to launch this week, so hopefully that frees up some time. And of course, I'm trying to get back into Heroes of the Storm, which did their major reset, and they're on their last leg of alpha. They're about to go into beta. I'm thinking they're going to announce beta at BlizzCon. I was actually hoping they'd launch the game at BlizzCon, but at this point, I think they're probably, as far as I'm concerned, they've got a great game out. It's already in beta. They should just go ahead and push it live. But
They really should, but it's Blizzard. You know, they're perfectionists with such things.
they don't have the matchmaking, and you can't watch other people play yet. So I guess there are a few really major pieces missing. So we'll probably wait for those to go live. But other than that, just losing my mind working nonstop. Although I have to say, two major, a book and a movie that I read yesterday just sucked me in all day. Oh boy, George Takei's "Oh My" book he wrote is awesome. If you haven't read it, you've got to read it. It's a couple years old now. I got it on Amazon Unlimited, and it just gripped me. One of those kind of books that it's like, oh, it's 3:00 in the morning. I really need to get to sleep, but just one more chapter. One more chapter. You know those books that just grab you all night long.
And he is such an interesting person. Just not only just for the fandom piece of it, but everything else. Yeah, he's a really great guy.
Absolutely. It's amazing. And the second thing is I wanted to take a break from reading. I would just watch something mindless. And so I was flipping through Netflix, and I said, oh, look, Bad Grandpa. I hear that's mindless.
God,
and I have to say, I loved it. I laughed so hard, so loud. I guess that means I'm a 9-year-old boy because it's all fart jokes everywhere. But it's like Candid Camera taken to the extreme. And it's just an awesome movie. If you're a guy who likes other people put in embarrassing situations, I loved it. I have to admit, I feel bad for that, but
It's pretty much just Johnny Knoxville and the Jackass film crew, and he's just kind of on doing Jackass on his own for a little bit, little.
Yeah, although I did not like Jackass because it was really just them, getting in a shopping cart and pushing each other down the stairs, which it's cute, but it's not really funny. You're just hurting yourselves. But here he dresses up as an old man and goes out in public and does all these hilarious things you can only get away with because he's looks like an old man. Or at his normal age, he'd get punched in the mouth. But as an old man, people cut him some slack, so he gets to pull off these horrible, just mind-bogglingly kind of pranks on people that are just funny. At least I think they're funny, which probably says a lot about my sense of humor. But anyway, so that's my pitch for the day. If you want to do something smart, read George Takei's "Oh My," and if you want to do something dumb, watch Bad Grandpa.
I think I'll
Don't do them at the same time. Okay, that works too. So, Rado, it's been a while since you've been on. What have you been up to?
Lately I've been rewatching some Voyager episodes, prepping for the expansion that happened for Star Trek Online. Getting reacquainted with certain races that'll be showing up. And then I've been playing a lot of the new tournament mode on War of Omens, which kind of plays like the arena on Hearthstone. So if you're familiar with that, it's a similar system like that where it's you open these packs that they give you of, okay, here's a pack that's nothing but the heroes that have the powers. So you pick one of those. Then you get I think it's 3 or 4 packs of just 4 cards. It's pretty much, this is what you're honing in the draft deck to be, where it's like, okay, here's these 4 cards, pick one. And then it's a couple more of packs of 5 cards. Then it's like 3 final packs of 6 cards, where it's like, okay, we can just pick up either duplicates of things or some other weird random thing out there kind of thing. And you're trying to build these decks. And it doesn't use any of the normal heroes of the game. It's special heroes that only exist for the tournament mode. And you sit there and play just like in the arena where it's like, okay, you need so many victories or losses. If you take 3 losses, it's over, you're done. But 8 is the cap on wins. But if you can get up into the, I think it's 5 wins, you get a gold booster pack. So it's like really, you don't have to be like the most amazing person ever, but you get kind of top end rewards that way. If you can max out, you can get a whole bunch of silver to buy more packs on top of a free pack. So it's like you can just keep cycling through.
Cool.
Very nice.
So what level are you at?
On War of Omens or Star Trek?
Yes.
The War of Omens.
War of Omens, there's levels for each hero, so it's like I've got a lot of them who are close to getting their level. I think it's 24 is their gold level of their signature cards that each hero generates, because each hero has a card that's just that levels up when you level them up. You can't level it up by buying packs. So got
basically
a whole bunch of
Hearthstone.
levels.
Right.
Kind of like that, except that
Okay.
in Hearthstone, where it's like, here's the gold foil version. This one, it's like the gold version is not it's a hologram. It costs less and it's more efficient when you're
great.
building and constructed. And then before the show, I watched Galaxy Quest.
Woo!
Oh, that's a good movie.
I love that movie.
I just watched that today too.
I have one job to do on this ship. Sorry.
It's stupid, but I'm going to do it.
give up.
I'm gonna do it.
Never surrender.
Okay. So, Captain, what have you been up to since we talked to you last?
Oh, geez, I've been watching Galaxy Quest.
Yay.
Actually watched that again today too. My favorite line, one I get to use all the time, is, "Explain it to him as you would a child." One of my favorite lines. But pretty much I've been gaming, oddly enough, and I'm way behind on, oddly enough, WoW and Star Trek Online. I've been playing different games. My daughter's got into these YouTube channels, Cupquake and her husband Red, and they play together, and they're loving these games. I'm like, this looks like fun. Usually when you see online gamers are like, they're capping noobs and they're trolling people, or it's a lot of racial slurs and just, general bad attitude. And I found some gamers. I'm like, oh, these guys are just having Quake and Modern War Negro, and all these guys are just out there like just having fun. I was like, I could kind of do that. So I picked a game, and it was APB Reloaded. It's Cops and Robbers Online. Started playing that just because it sounded totally out of my milieu. I was like, I have no idea how to play this. Went in having a ball, and then I started picking up.
Causes so much rage.
I know, but then there's like Octodad on Steam, and then there's, Sir, You're Being Hunted. I'm like, oh, there's a lot of great games, and I'm not a great gamer, but I can have fun. So I've been recording them and sticking them up on a YouTube channel, just getting that started. So just trying to expand my gaming horizons and keeping it fun and light.
Hey, I was gonna say, make sure you put in the notes. Make sure you throw that link in. 'Cause I'm sure people want to see that.
Oh,
Definitely.
and people should be watching Hunter's videos because celebrities show up.
Like,
I'm trying to remember the guy's. I'm terrible with names. I'm trying to remember the guy's name, but in the first video, he met a celebrity right there on screen. I was like, oh.
very nice.
Like they come over to his house and sit down and play games with him?
You and McGregor, get out of here, you.
Okay. So, hey, with that, let's jump into AIE News, I think.
AIE News.
So, do you happen to have a ticket to BlizzCon? And I mean real or virtual. If so, this year's BlizzCon online merchandise sale is underway. Starting now through November 11th, BlizzCon attendees and virtual ticket buyers can score some wonderful, fabulous BlizzCon Premier loot through the BlizzCon Gear Store. Also, those nomads, they're heading into Arcade. The queues are down to normal levels, the servers are up and running, and the nomads are going to be there through October 31st. And don't worry, if you had a problem originally with the game, everything is smooth as it looks, or as can be, and it is free to play. And, we have a ton of more news on all the games that AIE is playing in on the forums. So much news that we can't even put it on the podcast, because we can't do a 3-hour podcast, guys. You don't want to listen. Our voices will give out. So go, check them out. See all the great things that's happening in your AIE gaming community.
But we will cover some of them, just so you don't have to go and read every forum post, because that would take days. There's just a lot going on. So let's jump over and talk about AIE in World of Warcraft. Now, Blizzard just released their subscribers count ahead of next month's earning call. They are currently at 7.4 million subscribers. Now, I remember them peaking at 12 million, but that was, 2-3 years ago now?
3 years ago, during Wrath, wasn't it? Or right before,
Yeah.
between Wrath and Kata?
Yeah, and then so right now they're up 600,000 from the Q2 call that listed them at 6.8 million subscribers. So the game is 10 years old. That is long in the tooth for a video game these days, and still have over 7 million subscribers is really impressive. I remember we were playing EverQuest, and every new expansion for EverQuest came out, and they started getting the expansions. I think they just ran out of ideas. They all started getting stupid. And there's one where like every single major zone or major boss didn't have any vowels in the name, so you never knew how to pronounce any of the places you were going. Where are you going? I'm going to.
It was
So,
written
was
in
that-
Welsh. It was written in Welsh then. Yeah.
Maybe that was it. Maybe they're going Welsh.
Well, that was always the request with me. It was like, hey, there's a new continent. Oh, we forgot this one over here. Oh, yeah, there's another continent. Oh, we discovered the moon. It was like, oh, my God.
How many things can you just misplace, for God's sakes?
Right. So, again, I loved EverQuest, but they definitely got long in the tooth, and they didn't, in my mind, they didn't age gracefully. I think WoW is aging very gracefully, and I think 7 million. I can tell you, if I was running a gaming company, I'd be happy with 7 million subscribers.
Well, WoW just got some work done.
That's true.
It did.
Had a facelift, so. Okay, also in WoW, no, go ahead.
I was going to say, most of the races had a facelift.
That's true, but not all of them, which was. So they all look very happy with their Botox injections. They're just smiling all the time. So, okay, Hallow's End is here, observed by both the Horde and the Alliance. Wait a minute, we let the Alliance have a holiday?
Yeah, we do.
We're really nice people.
We have to share.
Okay. Hallow's End is a celebration of the break between the Forsaken and the Scourge. Many tricks and treats await adventurers seeking holiday fun, including defeating the Headless Horseman again. Visiting inns and cities for fun items such as masks and costumes, and eating way too much candy in one sitting. Now, that something popped in my mind here. I'm going off note with this one. The first time I ever did the All Hallows Eve quest and ate so much candy that I actually threw up in game blew me away. It said some game company would actually go to the trouble of animating vomit. That was awesome. I was like, wow. It didn't just my face turned green. No, they threw up on the floor. That just blew me away that they do that. I laughed so hard. So, okay, now what's new this year? Because every year they keep bringing this event back and bringing it back, and you got to wonder why you're doing it. So this year they have the exquisite costume of the Lich King available for purchase at the price of 500 tricky treats. The exact replica has 20 charges. I believe this is one that actually turns you to, looks like you're wearing the Lich King costume, right?
They said it's down to the last strand of hair, I believe is what we were reading.
Do you get his voice? Because that kind of gravelly, echoey Death Knight thing would be awesome.
That would be neat.
Okay, and as McCall mentioned earlier, patch 6.0.2 has dropped. It's really a pre-patch, which leads us into the major Warlords of Draenor launch, which is coming up on November 13th. Now, during this little pre-patch area, players have a 100% chance of getting their first Garrosh heirloom weapon on each difficulty. So then you can do it on, I believe, normal and heroic, but not Raid Finder, and you can get your heirloom drops. So now they also changed it so when you do Siege of Ogmar, you can't just jump into Wing 4 and go run over and knock out Gary. You actually have to do the entire siege, beginning to end, in order to get to Gary, which I found a bit annoying, but you have to do it.
We'll finish it tonight, though.
That's true. We'll finish ours tonight. So if you have yet to claim an heirloom for your collection, here's your chance. Now, once Warlords of Draenor goes live on November 13th, the heirlooms will be gone. So you got to get in now. That gives us, 4 weeks, 4 runs? And I've got like 7 level 90s. Oh, man, I got to get cracking. So get involved.
I'm a bit behind on it. What exactly is that heirloom that you get off of Garrosh?
Oh, he drops weapon heirlooms that are best in slot for every character right now, and they also level with you as you go from 90 to 100. So they're going to be leveling gear for the next expansion. And they're all weapons, which is always the hardest thing to get out of any game.
Right.
So, like, for example, my mage has got his staff, and then the third time we killed Gary, I got a strength shield on my mage. But they're bind to account, so you can share them with your alts.
Or if you don't have alts, you can just keep getting weapons that everybody wants on your one and only main.
Who would be doing that?
I have 7 weapons now. I'm a warlock.
Which is crazy, because we've killed Gary 6 times. I don't know how you pulled that off. That was pretty good.
Yeah, I must have critted on something.
Okay, now, so if you're like me, trying to freak out on how you're going to get all your tunes through Gary, or at least, or maybe even just get in to see Gary if you aren't a raider at the moment, Thugs is hosting the amazing Heirloomathon. There's a link to it. Sign up in the forums and the show notes. Thugs is working very hard to get people through and get their heirlooms before they go away. Yep. So jump in the forums and sign up. Actually, I'll see if you can use any of my alts because I need to get them in. And last, don't forget the AIE Homecoming Dance, which is Too Ghoul for School. It's coming up on November 1st, hosted by Zephira. Zephira? Zephira. How do you say that? Zephira? Okay. Zeph. But by Zeph. Sorry, yes. Zeph. We still need a few items for the refreshments, so it's like a potluck. If you want to bring something, take a look in the forums and see what you can bring and how to join.
Definitely. And up this week in the always popular Ask a Star Wars The Old Republic Guildie is Apollos, which, as we know, he's one of those guys that really is in all the games. Head over and ask any questions within reason to this great member of the AIE community. And also, we're kind of running low on the guildies for the Inquisition. So if you're playing SWTOR, or if it's been a while since you've done the Ask a Guildie thread, go ahead and sign up. And due to real-life issues, Emperor Palpatine is stepping down from the head of SWTOR. But never fear, the always present Max, yes, that Max, the one that plays the games and runs and drinks all the wine, is happily taking over leadership duties. Please send him your condolences or congratulations or just both. And coming up on the heels of AIE SWTOR launching our new guild flagship, Stronghold, and engaging in some epic versus guild conquest, BioWare has announced the new game changer and has introduced the new game changer and announced the Shadows of Revan digital expansion. Shadows of Revan will launch the first week of December in order to prepare players for the new content and a level cap increase from 55 to 60. BioWare has enabled special perks for subscribers who have pre-ordered the expansion. Pre-order on it's $19.99. Also great about it, the earlier you order, the more perks you get. In addition to early access at launch, the experience bonus of 12 times, yes, has been enabled for all class story missions. I've been hearing some people talk on Twitter, and they said that bonus has just been amazing.
12 times bonus?
12, exactly.
Holy cow.
That is just insane. All right, and this has been heartily embraced by our guild, and the Altapalooza is in progress with the new 55s popping up on a constant basis.
That is insane. I would love 12 times experience bonus.
Yeah,
especially on my alts, I'm trying to get to 90. Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's
okay.
Not wrong game though.
No, I want it. Wow. God.
That'd be great.
I always hate when I see these. I always see these other games that come up with these great little features. Like, man, I wish that was in my game of choice. Why don't we have that? And then hopefully you'll get there. But all right, moving on to AIE in Lord of the Rings Online with those hairy toes hobbitses. That's what it says in the notes right there. Hairy toes hobbitses right there. Don't forget, the Fall Festival is returning to Lotro on or around October 21st. Now, we don't have the exact date, but it's coming up, and that's like in a few days. So jump in there on the forums and catch up with what's going on. And on the heels of the Fall Fair and in grand AIE tradition, AIE in Lotro will be hosting a craft fair on November 1st. So we got the Fall Festival in game, and then we have an AIE craft fair in Lotro coming up within, a week? 2 weeks?
Right.
2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks. And I believe the reason for the craft fair is because Van Flick is a hoarder. that is what started it, but looks like they have few professions that are set in stone. I was reading about what they're doing on the forums, and it's AIE Craft Fair. It's one of our great traditions. And on October 15th, WildStar rolled out mega servers. And a very helpful guildie, Cicada, was great enough to post on the forum some really great information, really easy information on how to get it set up and to get out to Nexus. So go on and get that updated, Cupcakes.
Okay, and with that, let's head back to Red Rosado and Captain Hunter and talk about what's going on in AIE in Star Trek Online.
Previously on Star Trek Online.
Why is this ship still going backwards?
Damn it, I'm a doctor, tinker, tenor, spy, hologram, playwright, author, and lover, not a red shirt.
Every rule of acquisition. If it gets you money, do it, even if you shouldn't.
Kapla!
Sorry, Captain Kim. I'm the newest character in this setting, and even I outrank you.
And now the continuation of Star Trek Online, Delta Rising.
End scene.
Scene.
Oh my god, that was great.
So basically, so Star Trek Online has their second expansion since their launch. It's Delta Rising. It came out on the 14th, and it is basically, for a free-to-play game, the amount of content that they keep producing, and especially these big expansions, is just amazing. And in particular, in this expansion, I think last time they introduced the Romulans and gave us new intros for, tutorials for each of the races and stuff. This time around, the big news is that the level cap has been raised to 260 for the first time since launch.
Now,
Nice.
that level cap does come with 2 ranks that people get to have. Similar to previously in the game, there was it was every 10 levels is the next rank. The exception was in the final stretch from 40 to 50, there was 2 ranks in between there, as you're becoming a rear admiral, lower half and upper half.
Mm-hmm.
Now it is at level 55. You are a full admiral, just not admiral rear half or anything, like full admiral.
Mm-hmm.
At 60, you are then a fleet admiral.
Yep, and I think on the Klingon side, their highest rank is Dahar Master.
The Horror Master or Har Master?
Dahar.
Dahar.
Har Master, okay.
Kind of like Hafar. So, and there's also new playable races. So this expansion is called Delta Rising because we return to the
Actually,
Delta
there
Quadrant.
are no new playable races.
Oh no, no new playable races, but new races to interact with. So this is the introduction of some new worlds, some new races to play, some new play areas. I believe even the Kobali have an adventure zone, sort of a big ground-based, like a regular WoW zone, like a big ground-based zone to play in. But we're returning to the Delta Quadrant, which is what plays so heavily in the Voyager series, that they got sent so far away, and it would take them so far to get back. Now we have the technology to send ships back and forth through portals, transwarp portals, I believe, or actually, I think is it the transwarp?
Well, they kept contact because, as was established throughout Voyager as they were going along, well, as they were towards the tail end of it, as they were getting closer to the Alpha Quadrant, they were able to set up communication methods so they could, get a hold of people and talk to Starfleet and so forth. Mm-hmm. They've maintained that, and Neelix, and at least the second episode, has mentioned that there is contact, but it's not as often because it's just so far away. Mm-hmm. In fact, with the updated map, you can kind of get an idea of where the current map system, what we have available versus where in the Delta Quadrant we are. But as Voyager was presented, the Delta Quadrant is just way clear out there, and they were far out. So there was communication, but travel out there was just not reliable and not very fast. I mean, there are a couple methods that they learned about to help speed things along, like transwarp drive, also transwarp conduit gates, similar to what the Borg used. But pretty much it's further developments with the one of the Dyson spheres in the region that the Voth and the Federation, Republic, and Empire are fighting over, at least for supremacy. There's a way from there to get into the Delta Quadrant, and so that's...
Isn't that a vacuum?
Yes.
The Dyson sphere? Okay, just making sure.
And so from there, we're able to get from the Alpha and Beta quadrants over to the Delta Quadrant, and back vice versa.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of Neelix, they have 7 of 9, the Doctor, Neelix, Harry Kim, and Tuvok, the actors, reprising their roles to not only do voice acting in this, but I think in some of the prior episodes you had Michael Dorn come in as Worf, and Tuvok come in just to kind of do like, hi, here we are to give you a mission. We're going to be presenting a mission to you. This time you actually get to play side by side with these characters, and at least I haven't gotten through the missions yet to do this, but I've seen in the videos and stuff fighting side by side with the Doctor, with 7 of 9, taking on missions, interacting with them. So we're looking at like more extended voice work, and I think they've done a great job about bringing in, the characters, the actual actors from the shows to voice these, and they make them look like them. They sound great, they look great, and it's just a nice, way to be able to interact with the Star Trek universe even more.
Love that.
Definitely. One of the missions that you'll get in, the one where you first get to interact with the Doctor, because it's pretty much as you're going along, they kind of focus on a particular character, because as Cryptic, the studio who works on the game, has said that pretty much it's each of the 5 core people is kind of involved with a particular group that with the Delta quadrant, and it's pretty much helping them out, helps unify things so that towards the end of the overarching story you can bring all these people together to rise up against the big bad that the story is centered around. Yeah. But in the second mission, no, it's not second mission is Neelix, but third mission, you get to meet the Doctor, and when you complete that, you get a special duty officer that if you put him on your active ground roster of duty officers, there's a chance whenever you use a hypo spray that it summons him to show up, and he comes in and goes, with Robert Picardo's voice, he goes and yells, "Please state the nature of the medical emergency," and he's right there on the screen, and he helps heal you and your party.
And as you level up,
duty.
I did.
As he goes, and as you level up too, you're gaining levels. You're going to be opening up new skill trees as well. So you're also, it's not just gaining ranks; it's opening up skill trees and being able to assign points again to those areas, and kind of tailoring your character to your playstyle again. And as you go in, you're also going to be earning better ships. They now have Tier 6 ships that are available to you. And the Delta Quadrant ones in particular, I think they're sold with the Delta Pack, and you can also upgrade your current ship with a token to give it an intelligence officer slot. So this is another officer slot that can go on your bridge. This is your intelligence officer, and they are particularly good at finding the weaknesses, the flaws, opening up the enemy to attack, and being, here we go, Rado has one up.
Actually, a bit of correction.
They're like almost like a debuff. You can basically debuff the enemy.
A bit of correction on that. Any of the Tier 5 ships that get the upgrade, because some of them can, some of them can't, and some of them get a free one, some of them don't. But the Tier 5 upgraded, or T5U, will not get the intelligence officer slot. That is reserved for the full Tier 6 ships. Now, what T5U, the Tier 5 upgraded, does give you is the ship mastery, which, if you're watching my screen right now, I have the specializations, but the mastery is pretty much a little extra section on your ship right there that pretty much you get, if you keep piloting that ship, you get to fill a secondary experience bar. As it fills up, it unlocks one of 4 abilities, and all of them are in a particular order, and each ship kind of has its own progression. Like there might be some things that are similar similar types of ships, like certain science ships will have like a certain trait that's common or across all of them. But as they progress along, like the order might be shifted, or there might be a unique trait, generally in the 4th tier, that is like, here's something signature of this ship. And it's supposed to signify that you've gotten a lot more familiar with the ship. You can eke out a little more performance out of it.
And I guess let's see, with the actors coming up, we also have, there are a lot of new races to deal with in this. Again, Delta Quadrant races, the Kazon, the Kobali, good guys and bad guys. And I think I've seen some screenshots of the new bad guys, very interesting looking, kind of a...
Now, Hunter, do you know who the big bad is? Because in New Accord Season 9, it was the I had them just.
Are they the Zaram something? Again, Star Trek names are hard.
Sorry, I had them just. It was on the tip of my tongue just a second ago. But, the big bad of the at that time. Let me see if I can pull it up with the Episodes. Solani Dyson Sphere. Surface tensions. Stuff. I apologize. This is awesome radio. But
Well, while he's looking it up, we fleet-wise, on the fleet side, we're just still chugging along. We got new people signing up all the time. We're getting applications in, getting people invited into the fleet. We're plugging away at finishing up the Dilithium Mine 3. So this is going to finish up our Dilithium Mine, which will give us Tier 3 in development on the Dilithium Mine, which means in the long run, it gives us a huge fleet mark discount on all future fleet asset projects in the future. That covers any fleet marks that we need for the sphere, for the spire actually, the base itself. Anything we use for fleet marks are going to be 15% less, and that really kicks in when you start getting into Tier 4 and 5 starbase development, because you start getting like crazy amounts of requirements. So Dilithium Mine is cruising along nicely. We're about to finish it up with a big push at the end, and that gives us a nice big bonus there. And then pretty much we just recently finished up the Ricing event over the summer. There was the Ricing event where you can kind of go on and do the fun, fly around and the beaches, kind of do a little, surfing. And the nice thing is they had surfboards they added this year, and those were really awesome. Rockets.
Yeah. They added surfboards? That's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, they're always adding new content, and as far as free-to-play games go, again, it's one of probably the best free-to-play values out there, where it actually is free-to-play. You can get from 0 to level 60 without spending a dime. Of course, being Star Trek, so many cool things to buy. Like, I could just get that uniform, or, if I could just, that's my favorite ship, I'm going to get that. So they have ways to draw you in, but, it's always been the game itself. The gameplay is open to everyone. All zones are open to everyone. Pretty much start, free, play, have fun.
That's a great way to hook you in, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the big bad from New Accord was the Iconians, which some of you remember from previous episodes I've been on. They're mentioned quite a bit throughout both missions in the game and within primarily Star Trek: The Next Generation. Mm-hmm. Specifically, Worf has interacted with them quite a bit in a couple, at least their technology in past episodes, because they're kind of a faceless ancient race of, like, we've seen their stuff, but we've never seen them. Well, you get to see them in Star Trek Online. And
aren't these also the ones that had the little, like, the table, they'd hold people down, and basically, in that episode of the Next Gen?
That particular race was involved with the Iconians.
Okay, so they weren't the Iconians, they were working with them, okay.
Yes. But the big bad in this one, in Delta Rising, is referenced in a very specific Voyager episode, and I think similar to the when they started doing the most recent content after Perfect World acquired Cryptic, it was the tail end missions they added on to the Cardassian conflict, where you got to do a whole bunch of stuff with the Deep Space Nine, and they had a massive tie of, there was an event that happened during Deep Space Nine where it's like, so whatever happened to these guys? Well, they had a mission set that was centered around those people who mysteriously disappeared. Here they are, and this is how they're reacting as they're back. Mm-hmm. Well, in Delta Rising, there's a specific episode called Dragon's Teeth. And in that one, this introduces who the big bad is, and it pretty much sets up the history of here's who they are, and explaining, here's where they came from, for at least them being the big bad here in Delta Rising. Because there's a lot of questions of so wait a minute, it was mentioned in Voyager's logs that this is what was going on. How'd they get from point A, when they met them 30 years ago, to now point B where they are now, where it's like, holy crap, they've got some extra backing. So that's part of the mystery you're trying to solve, is where'd they get this extra stuff?
Okay, now remind me, the timeline of the game itself in the Star Trek universe, I swear, no idea where they came from. It's set after the last Star Wars series shows, right?
About 30 years after the conclusion of Voyager, at least chronologically. Okay.
I've been watching a lot of Star Trek Enterprise, going back to the roots of Star Trek, and I just loved that little, the way they tried to make the tech look lower tech than the original series.
Grappling hooks and all that kind of stuff. Those were awesome.
Which, if you're a huge fan of Enterprise, which
There it
don't
is.
get me wrong, it was,
Oh, there you
it
go.
was kind of a so-so show. But if you like really like Enterprise, there's a a fashion pack you can get where it's like, I want the uniform, so my crew looks like people from Enterprise. And you can even get the best episode on there is the Mirror Universe alternate uniforms that they had during that.
Wow.
And you can
I
also
haven't
pick
seen
up
that
the
one yet.
NX, and you can pick up the NX-01 as a ship as well, as a nice
Oh
starter ship.
yeah.
But yeah, pretty much it's about 30 years after Sulu's son is on the space dock. There's a lot of quote unquote children named Mud moving around as traders and stuff. So Harry was very prolific in his spreading of his lineage across the spaceways. Pretty much it. Oh yeah, and it's and the characters a little bit older. Harry and Tuvok have moved up in rank. I think 7-9 is still out of the.
And Tuvok's an admiral now.
Yeah, so pretty much like things have moved on. They're a little bit grayer in the temples. Worf is a chancellor, all that kind of stuff. So it's still familiar characters, but time has moved on.
Well,
That's very
Chief,
cool.
he's gone now, actually, ever since they did the crafting update. But Chief O'Brien's son was on Memory Alpha, but ever since they changed the crafting system, they effectively just closed out and removed Memory Alpha. Like, the planet exists, but you can't go down to there, because that's where it used to be the crafting hub. And Chief O'Brien's son was there. Icheb from Voyager, you can find him, I think it's in Starbase K7. So if you're looking for like the last remaining Borg kid who stuck with Voyager through the final episode, that's where he ended up.
Oh, awesome. And there's Risa. Nice and sunny.
The Pleasure Planet.
So pretty
Okay,
much, we're all doing good. Everything's all good in Star Trek Online.
Awesome. Any other news?
One particular thing, like as Hunter was mentioning before, we're trying to get the big push for the dilithium mine, because once that's finished, it makes other projects easy. Like, we don't have to invest as much time. The biggest thing we're kind of lagging behind on is dilithium for some of the tail end projects, because it takes a lot of dilithium. So I kind of wanted to take a moment of explain to people, hey, here's dilithium, here's how you can get it, and if you want, because one big caveat about dilithium is it is a time currency. So it's, in a very real way, this translates into your time being money, or vice versa. But in a lot of Perfect World games, and some of you have heard, if you've heard me on previous shows, this should be familiar. We do have a link for a very in-depth version of this in the Star Trek Online forums to a blog post that Cryptic provides, explaining here's the dilithium system, how you can get it. But effectively, dilithium is a time currency. Every day, you can do a whole bunch of missions that will give you unprocessed raw dilithium as ore. You'll have two different kinds of dilithium. You'll have the raw ore and then the refined. Now, ore, you can get as much as you want. There's no cap. You can just keep doing missions, and keep doing projects and so forth like that, and it keeps adding up. Now, the refined stuff, what you do is there's a little button on your assets, and it's pretty much you just click refine, and any of the ore turns into the refined stuff to a cap of 8,000 per day. So this is where it's your time currency. So a day's worth of effort is 8,000. With that, you can do a lot of things. There's a lot of upgrades within our fleet base. If you have fleet credits, which you get credits for participating in any of the projects, like certain things that have more costly commodities give more credits to you. So participating in any of the projects gives you fleet credits. But with credits in dilithium, you can buy specialized, awesome upper end gear that's like really special and really awesome for their stats. So these are things you can get right now. Also, there is your own personal reputation projects that require dilithium to make the special reputation gear there. So stuff for your ship, stuff for your character, for while you're running out on the ground missions. And then finally, there is the dilithium exchange. This is where the premium currency, Zen, which is a universal currency across all Perfect World games. Zen is like your space coins, name your premium thing where you pay real money to get credits for things in a game. But the Zen Exchange is pretty much where Perfect World got the bright idea of, instead of having a free-to-play game where everyone's like, oh, we hate the whales, those players who have tons of money, maybe not a lot of time, but they've got tons of money and they buy a whole bunch of
Did
stuff.
you just call them whales?
It's the.
It's a
I
Vegas
didn't coin the term.
Is that the term?
The
Okay.
Vegas.
I didn't coin the term, so but that's what they're referred to as. Is it's the whales. But what it is pretty much Perfect World smartly made it so it's like instead of being neutral, letting people be antagonistic of oh, that person's accomplishment means nothing because they're just a whale. They threw money at it. It's pay to win. They made a system so it's like, okay, people who have time but not a lot of money can interact with people who have money but not a lot of time with the Zen exchange. Pretty much you can sell your dilithium to get Zen, which, premium currency to unlock ships, clothing unlocks, races, extra character slots, and things like that. Or you could, if you have a whole bunch of Zen, you can sell that to get dilithium in case it's like, oh man, I can't do all the missions and refine it all. I just want to go buy some dilithium. So you can trade back and forth with other players. So you just you set up your auctions of I'm selling my dilithium or I'm selling my Zen, and people who have too much of one and not enough of the other can meet nicely and get what they want.
Nice.
That's a great solution.
Yeah, they handled it very
Okay.
elegantly.
All right. So any last comments before we move on?
Feel free to hit the Elite Yachta Est boards there. We have a little Star Trek Online subforum. I think the first sticky post is how to join, so get an application in. Feel free to join us. We always seem to have people on at all hours of the day or night. Maybe not quite a green wall, but we got some folks there and always ready to have a good time.
How many people are in the AIE STO guild?
100 and I haven't looked recently. Let's take a
Now,
peek
is that
there.
players or accounts? Because that's
I'd
kind of
say
the thing with it.
Players.
Check the roster.
Characters.
Human beings.
Well, because the thing is, if I do the rosters, it shows alts, doesn't go by accounts.
Yeah,
so,
I'd say out of the 150 characters we have, I would say at least 90 to 100 are actual people. We don't have too many people with too many alts. Usually it's a Fed and maybe a Romulan alt. Maybe 80 folks on the low side, 80 actual people. But
So if somebody out there is looking for a group to play with that actually is active and there are people on all the time, that sounds like a good fit.
yeah,
Yep.
Especially
Now, how do you
for a
guys handle
free-to-play
like
game.
raiding and? Sorry, McCall, go ahead.
Especially for a free-to-play game.
Oh, yeah,
very much.
yeah, we definitely have our ups and downs times. I mean, it is a free-to-play game, so there isn't that impetus of like, well, I paid my $15, I better get on and play. People kind of drift in and out. The WoW expansion's coming up. That's came
Now,
out.
how do
So
you guys?
oh, sorry, go ahead.
How do you guys handle things like raiding? If there is, I'm sure there's a raiding equivalent in STO.
Well, content
Are they-
in this, content in Star Trek Online, I'm fairly sure this is the case with at least Cryptic on it, but it's not built where it's like, okay, we got to get a big old guild who gets together and we're all going to take this content with all these lockouts and things like that. It's actually built, I think, a little closer to how the Asian markets are because, again, Perfect World Entertainment is Asian-based company. But pretty much it's all endgame stuff is, for the most part, aside from very special exceptions, it's all 5-man content, and it's completely doable with like a pickup group. I mean, it can be smoother if it's more reliable people and you can get certain achievements done and accolades and unlocks that way, but just to get through it, you can just, round up a bunch of people and get it done.
Yeah, there's usually a long list of ground and space-based missions that, some will, and then you can choose, like, do I want to do ground? Do I want to do space-based? Do I want to do it easier? Do I want to do it hard? And what do I want as reward? Do I want fleet marks? Do I want dilithium? What do I want as the reward? So here's a long list if you're looking at the video there. And you can hop in, and it's like some are 5 minutes, some are 5 minutes. Some are 5-man, some are 10-man, some are 20-man. And it's sort of like you just queue up and you're putting a pug. And basically, since the ships are so, yes, you've got science and tactical and engineering, but you could run a mission with all tactical, you could run a mission with all science. The mix and match of teammates isn't as important as basically teamwork, just working together and, and once you kind of like see where people are going and, get a feel for one or two of the missions, you're set after that. You're good to go.
Cool.
Yeah, so
Sounds like
certain
fun.
jargon flies around throughout like the pickup group team chat. Like, say for example, what is it? Cure. I'm trying to remember the name of the mission, but there's a Borg mission you can do where people, as they're going before they even start the thing, people will verify. It's like, now does everyone know the 10% rule, meaning a particular strategy where it's you burn down these 4 different things to 10%. Stop until all 4 are at 10%. Then you simultaneously burn all of them and burn the final thing all in one quick go, so you can actually manage and get the bonus of that level instead of being there forever as these probes and spheres keep coming in from the Borg conduit, and they keep healing everything out there. Mm-hmm. So there's quick, concise. Here's the strategy here, or there's another one. I think it's on Cure Released, I think is what it's called. But in that one, for example, it's the who's on Kang, and all right, does everyone know the again that version of the kill all the pods, leave the cubes strat, which is you kill all the pods that make the cubes invulnerable, but you leave the cubes at the 3 different stations alone. Then as soon as everything's all prepped, then it's burn 1 cube, run to the next, burn that cube, and then run to the final one, because how it works is every time you kill a cube, nastier spawns. It's kind of like a playing against a computer on a MOBA where they keep spawning the minions. But every time you kill a cube, instead of you getting your better minions to send against them, because you don't get minions, nastier minions keep spawning against you. So to mitigate that, it's you burn them quick so that it's like, okay, they don't have time to spawn the better minions. And you have one person keeping the target disabled ship alive.
Yeah.
All right, but the bottom line is the guild, you guys don't have to actually schedule runs and raids. People can just jump in and find LFG groups.
Correct, especially since the lockouts from almost all the content is pretty much an hour. So it's like, you'll do a mission. It's like, okay, you can't do this mission for an hour. Mm-hmm. So it's like, yeah, as long as you just line it up like, okay, we're gonna have a whole bunch of people, because we can set up within the guild similar to the WoW calendar. Like, hey, a bunch of us are gonna do this run on this day at this time. So you can sit around, schedule your things, going, okay, I want to see if I can squeeze in another run of this particular thing. So you do it, well an hour beforehand, so that way your timer is up by the time your stuff's ready to go.
Yeah. Plus, we've been in events where we're just kind of hanging around the starbase, and then it's like, hey, who wants to go on a mission? And we group up with some people, queue for thing, and you all go into the same mission. So either pugs, or you can group up, and then like you said, some are a little more strategic, and some are just tank and spank. Just run through the town. Oh, well, I don't know, what would you call it? Phase and blaze. Just phase and blaze. There you go. Phase and blaze.
I love it.
And just, run, shoot, and then yay, and get some goodies at the end.
Alrighty then. Okay, it looks like we're running out of time, so let's call that our show for tonight. While the chat room begins suggesting titles, and of course that means you, Sybil, we want to thank you guys both for joining us. Rado, where can people find you on the web?
People can follow a lot of my musing over at RadoZato on Twitter. Also, you can find, double checking the address so I don't say the wrong one, you can find the blog that I write articles for over at acrosstheboardgames.net. A link for this will be provided in the show notes.
Mm-hmm. And Hunter, where can people find you?
Well, as I said earlier, just kind of got a little entertainment channel going off on the side there. So there's, I was getting some traction on my old YouTube channel, my kind of personal one, so I switched it over to Bearded Coffee Monkey. So you can go to
great name,
Bearded Coffee Monkey, all one word, and you can also follow me on Twitter at BCoffeeMonkey.
I love that. That's hilarious.
That's great. And if you have any questions or comments about our show, you can email the podcast at podcast@aie-guild.org. You can also follow us on Twitter. The show is at AIE Podcast. Accuzod is at naturally Accuzod. Eludra is at Eludra_AIE. And I am at Cyberwave. We record live with video every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. You can join the chat room and play along with us on our website, theaiepodcast.com. And our theme was composed by the wonderful and amazing Andrew Allen. Follow him at... Sorry, I have no idea.
Sounds
Follow
like
him
your puppy
at...
likes him.
I guess. With Keys with Soul, or visit his website at keyswithsoul.com.
Okay, now it's time to play all of the great AIE member segments that get sent in, and we got a ton this week. We actually had a couple people come back who've been on hiatus, so it's great to hear them. So you should be hearing immediately following this, Buxley's Journal, Epic Diapers, Ask Miss Mulgra, Ask a Magus, Overly Dramatic News, Much Lesser Known Shaw's, and Mega Minute. And we'll stick that in right here. All right, next week we'll be talking to, we'll be bringing Radozato back again, along with a secret guest we've been forbidden to name. His name was redacted, to cover AIE in the secret world. So until then, AIE, this is Akuzad.
And this is McCullough.
And this has been the AIE Podcast. I had enough of that.
Yeah, there's a storm, and evidently the gate or the door of the garage was slightly opened, and the wind pushed it open, and Celine just had a panic attack.
Oh, thanks. Oh, there's the surfboards. Rado's got his surfboard out.
Yep.
That is hilarious.
Sorry, I was meaning to get it out while I was talking, but then I got distracted with dilithium, and it's like,
Those things are awesome.
That's hilarious. Okay, Rado Hunter, it's up to you two to pick a show title. And the chat room's a little rough. I'm not sure how many people are actually working in there.
bring up their stuff, because I've had it up, but I haven't been
I had to close it out too.
So let's see. Lockbox keys need to be purchased too. Well, that's not a show title, but it's like they're people commenting stuff, but it's like, like.
So far we
keys
have
for
one submission,
lockboxes.
Sybil, SGO, where no guild has gone before.
There you go. I like that.
Does it work? All right. Well, congrats, Sybil, once again. I think we're just going to stop fishing for him and just ask Sybil every week just to save time and effort.
No, just the second one right there. Delta Rising AIE meets Voyager.
Ooh, okay. Which one do you want?
Both are good, yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't you name the show Sybil?
Also get her on the show.
You got to get her on the show. But then who would do the show title when she's on?
No one. I think, Sybil was online in the
I saw her in the video.
Sector.
Yep.
All right, so you want the second one?
That's what I'm voting for. What do you say, Hunter? Hunter, you can veto me.
I think Sybil's got a lock. We need to, let someone else have it shine a little bit. Sybil's so good at it, I think that let's give it to the underdog.
Well, Sybil's the only one who submitted any.
Oh, which is the second one then?
Sybil as well.
Oh,
Yeah, because alternate show.
I thought somebody else went in.
We've got a lot of people in the chat room, but people are welcome to step up to the plate. It's not. It's not that Sybil said something is done. Like anyone can step up to the plate. Now, they're not going to hear that for about a minute to 30 seconds, but
And Sybil's going to have another one.
Oh, sorry.
Admiral Sybil.
Pardon, hon.
Sybil.
How's that for a show title? That's
I gotta-
Admiral
I
Sybil,
gotta-
by the way.
Kraken, so I can become Fleet Admiral. Because I even updated my rank pips on all my characters. So
If they do what they said before, I know there's rumor that at some point at Fleet Admiral or at some point you will become an admiral and be in charge of the ships that you've kind of collected along the way. So you can assign your bridge officers to...
They were talking about that before they started getting the details about this, where they were initially saying that with the next level increase, they wanted to have something so that you could do something with the massive roster and collection of ships, because there's a lot of players who have just collected ships.
Yeah, and you have all these fleet officers. So
yeah, and you kind of want to collect those ships because each of them has a different play style. Like it's pretty much each ship that gets released is like hey, there's this play style people have been wanting. Here it is.
It sounds like they'd work almost like pets. I mean, you've got your main ship and you're in a...
Or
maybe
my understanding is it would work like the
orders
hunter ability on World of Warcraft, where it's I think it's Beastmaster or something like that, where it's you summon all your pets in like some big cooldown.
Oh.
Or say for example, when you hit fleet support, it's your ships that show up instead of generic whatever ships. So it's like it's still doing the same output, but it's like your ships.
Yeah. Okay, guys, we got to run.
Okay.
And so I'm going to go with Sybil's second one.
Sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
Okay.
No one else has really gotten one. We've
Sybil's
chit-chatted.
her own competition.
Cool.
Yep.
Sybil's that good she has to beat herself. All right, cool. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Great show. We'll see you next time. Talk to you next week, Rado.
Bye.
All right. I just got some money
Money.
for selling my Mirror Universe Patrol Escort because I opened a whole bunch of lock boxes. Because they got a sale on keys right now, so it's like, this is the time to buy keys.
Yeah, I need to get some. I need to get in and actually go in and get some more playtime in because I've been messing around. I've been trying to learn video editing because those initial videos I put up, I need to edit those things.
Mm-hmm.
So cool. Okie doke. So I'll see you in game, and I'll see you guys